Hey, Tommy from the Run Testers with another running shoe review. In this video, myself and Nick are going to be taking a look at the Saucony Tempus running shoe. Let's have a look. The Saucony Tempus costs £165 or $160, weighs in at 263 grams or 9.3 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 8mm. The Saucony Tempus is a shoe that aims to balance performance features with stability elements, giving runners that want a supportive ride the versatility to train comfortably across different sessions. That support comes from the combination of a contoured PWRRUN frame and a deeper midsole design to hold the foot in place with a plush fit, along with a supportive midsole geometry and base. The PWRRUN PB midsole, Saucony's soft and bouncy cushioning, works alongside the supportive design elements to deliver energy return and bounce without sacrificing control, while the form-fit upper gives a personalised fit across the length of the shoe. Other features include an XT900 outsole for grip and durability, a breathable mesh upper, and an adaptive lacing design.
So I had no problems with the fit of the Tempus in my normal size, really good hold around the heel and midfoot, nice amount of room in the toe box, perfectly happy, true to size.
So the fit for me in the Tempus is true to size. I found it to be a very comfortable shoe. There's plenty of space in it. It's not too narrow for me. I definitely stay true to size in this shoe. So when I first picked up the Saucony Tempus, I was a little bit skeptical about what I was going to experience from the shoe. It's a stability shoe, and from historical testing, stability shoes I don't often find that conducive to training enjoyably. If you look at shoes like the Asics Gel Kayano 29 that I've just been testing, it's a good stability shoe, but it doesn't feel like it's got the benefits that you'd want from a running shoe over different training sessions. The Saucony Tempus, I've done about 80k in this so far. I've been doing a lot of marathon training recently, and I picked up this shoe for quite a bit of it. I know Nick has been enjoying this shoe for the later stages of his marathon training, where his legs are a bit tired and he wanted a bit of stability. I've been using it a little bit earlier than him, and I've actually been using it for interval sessions. I've been using it for longer runs, and I've been using it for just all sorts of training methods, really. So I really wanted to put it to test to see how it would deliver over all those different types of training and not just slow, easy miles. And what I've found is that I'm really impressed with it. I think the beauty of the Tempus is that the stability elements, they're quite subtle in comparison to what you would experience from a more traditional stability shoe. So they're definitely there, those stability elements. It definitely feels stable. It definitely feels like your foot is in place and firmly held securely so that you can run comfortably without worrying about any sort of movement in the foot. But it feels like you can still run at different paces with it. It's by no means the best interval shoe out there or tempo training shoe, but for a stability shoe, it's actually pretty good. I've been doing quite a lot of faster sessions in this, and although it's not capping out at an amazing fast speed for me, I can do a lot more in it, which I definitely couldn't do in a lot of stability shoes that I've tested. So I think it's a great movement for stability shoes, and we've seen other shoes appear like this, like the New Balance 860 V12, that is more of a subtle stability shoe as opposed to something like the Gel Kayano. I think this is probably the most versatile stability shoe I've tried. So if you're somebody looking for a stability trainer and you're struggling to find a stability shoe that gives you performance benefits like comfortable cushioning, cruising, and running a little bit faster, this is definitely a shoe you should look at, because it can just do a lot more than what I'd expect from a stability shoe. Over those longer runs, the PWRRUN PB foam, it feels pretty nice, feels soft enough, and it feels like there's a nice level of responsiveness to it as well. It really does let you pick up the pace a bit more. But those stability elements as well sort of firm it up a bit, but not to the point where you no longer feel those softer elements of the PWRRUN PB foam. So when I've done those easier efforts, the legs have felt great. It's just been really comfortable, lovely turnover, and definitely feel like I could move along a pretty good pace without the shoe feeling like it's slowing me down in any way. On those faster interval sessions, really does allow you to pick up the pace. There's a nice fluid turnover in the shoe, nice toe off, and yeah, I wouldn't pick it as my fast training shoe, but if I'm going out to do a daily training run and I want some bit of stability in it, I like the fact that with this shoe, I can go a little bit faster if I want to. Also found that there is a nice level of grip on the outsole of the shoe, very well covered, and the rubber is quite grippy. So I've been running a little bit in the rain recently. It's been a bit slippy, no issues at all with it, feels very good. And yeah, very much enjoyed the grip on the outsole of this shoe.
So I've used the Tempus for quite a lot of runs now, but my actual total distance isn't that much. It's probably only around 40 or 50k, and it's been my testing, I will say, has been slightly limited by the period I've had the shoe, which has involved a marathon taper and then some marathon recovery. But I have done quite a few easy runs in the shoe, and I really have liked it. I have to say the ride was much softer and livelier and more enjoyable than I expected from the shoe. I know it's not something you necessarily associate with stability shoes, but yeah, there is a nice amount of bounce there, and you do get that support from it, but it's not overbearing at all. Like, you can feel when you hold the shoe like this stiff medial side foam here designed to stop you overpronating, and you think, oh, maybe that's going to intrude on the run, but it really hasn't. I've not been able to use it for any sessions or anything like that, but I have gone through the gears in a couple of runs, and it feels comfortable to use for steady pace, tempo runs, and the ride is really nice and smooth. It's not quite as lively and explosive as the speed from Saucony Endorphin Speed or the Pro as you'd expect, but it is still soft and lively, and there's no wobble created by that, so it does still work as a stability shoe. And I've used it on really, really tired legs a couple of times. So straight after a half marathon for a cool down, I used it, and then used it for my first run back after the marathon, and tired, DOMS-filled legs. It creates support, but it doesn't feel like you've got a big stability brick on the end of your shoe. So yeah, really been impressed by it.
Okay, so my verdict on the Saucony Tempus is that it's a great stability shoe. I think it's part of this new world of stability shoes where the worlds of cushion shoes and stability are coming closer together and giving people that need stability also some of the benefits of a shoe that doesn't have stability. And I think this is the best example of that. It doesn't feel like a stability shoe as you would expect. It does feel stable, but it just feels like you can do a lot more in it. And I think it's a fantastic new release from Saucony, which I've said many times over the past few months that they really are just knocking it out of the park this year with all of their shoes. There's some fantastic stuff coming out, and I think the Tempus is one of them. I think it's a brilliant shoe, and I do have a few stability shoes in my cupboard. I very rarely pick them up for any reason unless I'm either testing them or I really want some stability for some reason at some point. But this I'm actually enjoying taking out instead of some of my other cushion shoes. It feels great. And definitely not feeling like I'm losing anything by going for a stability option. So I think it's a fantastic shoe to go for. I've mentioned the New Balance 860 V12, which I think is a close second to this when it comes to this subtle level of stability in shoes. But I would also probably say that the Tempus doesn't necessarily have to fit in the world of stability shoes. I think it could fit into the world of slightly cushioned daily trainers as well. Saucony released the Endorphin Shift 2 last year, which I tested. That looks quite similar to this, but it's very hard and thick, and it doesn't feel like you can do a lot more than very slow runs in it. And this is nothing like that. You can just do a lot more in it. It's fantastic, and I think it's well worth a look if you do want stability, but you want to avoid the world of heavy, clumpy, and harder stability shoes, and you want something that's a little bit more versatile.
The Tempus feels almost like the kind of daily trainer we should all use more. There are more exciting options on the market, livelier options. You feel like, I'm really excited to go and use the speed, especially for fast sessions, but even for my easy runs as well, or something like the Asics Nova Blast 3, big bouncy soft shoes. But this is a sensible shoe, and maybe the kind of shoe we should use. Like, you get a little bit of support, but it's not intrusive. It's not that heavy. It's still lively and bouncy. You can use it for a variety of runs. Maybe, it doesn't do that well on all-out speed work. Not something I've been able to test, but it does perform well across a variety of daily training runs and works well at tempo paces as well as very easy paces. Probably the softest, springiest, most exciting stability shoe I've ever tested myself. I don't have the deepest knowledge of this shoe category compared to others, but yeah, this is certainly one I've enjoyed using an awful lot compared to kind of classic models like the Kayano, which are a bit more intrusive, still work well, but they're firmer and less fun to run. And this is a really fun shoe, and you don't have to think about stability if you don't want to. That's the only real problem I have with it is the price. It is quite high for a shoe that is a sensible shoe. Like, if you don't have those stability needs, you're going to get a lot better value by going for cheaper daily trainers like the Puma Velocity Nitro 2, the Nike Pegasus 39, in the Saucony Ride 15. Like, I like the ride of the Tempus probably more than the Ride 15, I'd say, and more than the Pegasus, but I prefer the ride of the Velocity Nitro 2. It's softer, it's bouncier, it is less stable for sure, but if you're not thinking about stability needs, the Tempus is a great shoe and a good shoe for you, but it might not live up to that price tag, I'd say. If you are looking for a stability shoe though, great. It is still expensive, but it's such a good shoe and an enjoyable shoe to use that the price becomes less of a factor, especially when you compare it to other top stability models, things like the Kano. They are also very expensive shoes as well. So yeah, overall, a big thumbs up for me on the Tempus. It's another Saucony shoe that I think is very good this year. They really are having a very good year, and it's one that I think enjoyed a lot more than I expected to. It's a shoe I think I'll return to keep using, certainly when I'm on tired legs and I'm doing higher mileage weeks, that kind of thing. It really loves the sport. It's the kind of shoe in the past I might have gone for the Nike Infinity Run, which again offers a bit of mild support, that shoe, whilst having quite a reassuring, stable ride. But this is a better shoe all round. I think the ride is more fun, it's bouncier, it's faster, it's lighter, and you are getting probably even more stability from it. So yeah, that's kind of replaced the Infinity. When I would use the Infinity Run, I think the Tempus would be the shoe I'd turn to in its place. It's certainly a very solid daily trainer for all runners, whether you have stability needs or not.
Okay, so that's it from us on the Saucony Tempus. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click the little bell icon. It really does make a difference. And check the channel out for all the other videos we've got from the latest road and trail shoes, as well as running headphones and watches out at the moment. And don't forget, we've also got our monthly podcast that comes out at the end of every month. So if you click down into the caption below, you can find the link to the podcast provider of your choice. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.